Count the tasks you did last week that required zero creativity. Renaming files, rewriting the same status update, copying numbers from one place to another. For most people, that is 6 to 8 hours. Today, we take those hours back. This is Claude Daily. In the next 9 minutes, you will learn a repeatable method. Audit your week, sort tasks into 3 automation tiers, then build the exact tool for each tier. No coding required for the first 2 tiers. First, an honest boundary, because it saves you frustration. Claude does not sit and watch your inbox. There is no timer that fires on its own inside a normal chat. Automation here means the work is pre-built, so running it takes seconds instead of an hour. That distinction matters. 90% of the time you lose is not the pressing of the button. It is reconstructing context, rewriting instructions, and remembering the format you used last month. That is exactly the part we are going to store permanently. Start with the audit. Open a blank note, and for the next 3 work days, write 1 line every time you catch yourself thinking, I have done this before. Do not judge it. Just log it. This list is your raw material. Here is a real log from a dental office manager. Monday, retyped the supply reorder email. Tuesday, summarized 4 insurance letters. Wednesday, built the staff schedule from the same 6 constraints. Thursday, chased 2 unpaid invoices with near identical wording. Now sort. Tier 1 is a task you do occasionally with slightly different inputs each time. Tier 2 is a task you do weekly with a stable shape. Tier 3 is a task that touches many files or systems at once. Different tiers, different tools. Tier 1 gets a saved prompt template. Tier 2 gets a project or a custom skill. Tier 3 gets Claude working directly with your files. That mapping is the whole framework. Write it down because everything else in this episode hangs off it. Let us build Tier 1 properly, because most people do this badly. A weak template is a sentence. A strong template has 4 labeled parts: the role, the input, the constraints, and the output shape. Labels are what make it reusable. Here is the invoice chase template from that dental clinic. Notice the double brackets. Those are the only parts that change each time. Everything else you never think about again, which is the entire point of a template. Test your template on the hardest case you have, not the easiest. If it holds up when the client is angry and the invoice is 90 days late, it will hold up on a routine Tuesday. Easy test cases hide broken templates. Where do you keep templates? Anywhere you can paste from in 2 seconds. A pinned note, a text expander, a single document called prompts. The storage tool does not matter. Retrieval speed does. If finding it takes longer than rewriting it, you will rewrite it. Now Tier 2. This is where projects earn their keep. A project is a container that holds files and standing instructions, so every chat inside it starts already knowing your situation. You stop uploading the same brand guide 11 times. Build one now. Open the projects area at Claude AI, create a project, and name it after the recurring job, not the topic. Weekly client report beats client stuff. Naming by job makes it obvious which project to open. Then fill the knowledge area. 3 things belong there: examples of good past output, the reference data that rarely changes, and any format rules. For that dental clinic, that is 2 approved letters, the supplier list, and the practice tone guide. The custom instructions field is the highest leverage box in the product, and most people leave it empty. Write the standing brief there: who Claude is, what it should always do, and what it must never do in this project. Now the payoff. Inside that project, your weekly request shrinks from 4 paragraphs to 1 line, because everything else is already loaded. That is what a well-built project feels like in daily use. One warning about projects: do not turn one project into your entire job. Narrow projects give sharper answers because the context is not competing with itself. 3 focused projects will always beat 1 enormous one. Now skills, which are the strongest Tier 2 tool and newer than most tutorials admit. A skill is a folder of instructions Claude loads by itself when it recognizes the task. You do not have to remember to invoke it. The difference from a project is scope. A project holds context for one body of work. A skill holds a procedure you want available everywhere. Your quarterly report format is a skill. Your biggest client account is a project. At the center of every skill is a plain text file named skill.md. It opens with a short description of when to use the skill, then the steps. Claude reads that description to decide whether to load it, so write it precisely. Here is the opening of a working skill for podcast show notes. Notice how concrete the trigger sentence is. Vague triggers are the #1 reason a skill never fires when you expect it to. Then the procedure. Numbered steps, 1 action each, with the output format spelled out at the end. Treat it like instructions for a competent new hire who has never seen your workflow. That framing produces the right level of detail. To install it, zip the folder and upload it under Customize, then Skills, then Create Skill. From then on, it applies in any conversation. Build small, single-purpose skills rather than one giant one, because narrow skills combine cleanly. Now Tier 3, the tasks that touch many files at once. Renaming 300 photos. Merging 12 spreadsheets. Pulling one figure out of 40 PDF invoices. These break templates entirely because the work is volume, not wording. For these, describe the outcome and let Claude write the small script that does it. You are not learning to program. You are describing a result precisely and letting the machine handle the syntax. Notice the last clause. Log every change so I can undo it. Always ask for a reversal path on bulk operations. A rename that cannot be undone is a mistake waiting for a bad Monday. Second example, from a small landscaping business. 40 supplier invoices as PDFs, and the owner wants one spreadsheet of totals by month. That is a 20-second request and about 3 hours saved. That flag clause is doing quiet work. Instead of silently guessing on a blurry scan, Claude marks it for you to check. Building the uncertainty back into the output is how you keep automated work trustworthy. Connectors extend Tier 3 to the tools you already use, letting Claude read from a document store or a task tracker during a conversation. Useful, but remember they act while you are present. They are reach, not scheduling. Now the discipline that separates people who talk about automation from people who actually get time back. After every run, spend 30 seconds fixing the instruction rather than fixing the output. Fix the output and you fix it forever. Fix the instruction and you fix it once. Keep a short list at the bottom of every template and skill called corrections. Each time you catch the same mistake twice, it becomes a line there. After a month, those lines are worth more than the original instructions. Which brings up what not to automate, and this is the part most guides skip. Anything where the thinking is the point. Difficult feedback to a colleague. A decision with real consequences. First contact with a person who matters. Use Claude as a drafting partner on those instead. Have it argue against your position, or list the 3 questions you have not considered. That is a different use of the tool, sharpening judgment rather than replacing it. Also skip anything you do less than once a month. The build cost will never pay back. Automation math is simple. Time saved per run times runs per year has to beat the hour you spend building it. Here is your 7-day plan. Days 1 to 3, run the repetition log. Day 4, pick the single most annoying item and build a template. Day 5, wrap your biggest recurring job in a project. Day 6, write one skill.md file for a procedure you repeat everywhere. Day 7, do nothing new. Just use what you built and add lines to your corrections list. That last day is the one people skip, and it is where the quality comes from. So, to recap, audit your repetition, sort it into 3 tiers, and match each tier to a template, a project or skill or file level work. Edit instructions rather than outputs. Keep human judgment human. If this saved you an hour, subscribe so the next one finds you. Tomorrow, episode 17, getting real value out of web search, including how to tell a confident answer from a sourced one. I am glad you were here. See you tomorrow.